So welcome again to the TMC Newsroom here on the road in San Jose. I'm with Ken Perez, who is the SVP of Marketing for Mede Analytics. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about Mede. He spells it with an E on the company name, but it's medical. So tell us about how old the company is and when you guys started.
We were founded in '94, and in 2001 we became a software as a service model company focused on healthcare. Performance management is what we do for hospitals and health plans, basically.
Okay, and let's talk about this. So a lot of the analytics is about best practices. Tell me about how you guys manage the best practices.
So best practices, quality measures, cost efficiency, those are the kinds of things that we measure, and we use data from all kinds of sources, financial, operational, and clinical, and then we provide analytics, business intelligence, back to our customers on a daily basis so they can manage see how they're doing and then manage the performance.
Okay, and you mentioned the fact that you're both in the U.S. and the U.K., so tell me about the differences in terms of rules and how you have to manage it. Are the same metrics in both, or are they different worlds?
Well, you know, having lived in the UK for a little while, a little different language. We're, as they say, two countries or two nations divided by the same language.
Yes.
So slightly different spellings, perhaps. But generally, the issues of reducing costs and improving quality are the same. It's interesting that the UK system is actually moving a little bit more toward us, philosophically and politically, I'd say. And then we're perhaps moving a little toward them as well.
Okay. Now, there's been a lot of e-health initiatives and a lot of different strategies. First of all, when you deal with the measurements and the metrics, is this rolled up in a hospital administrator or a managed healthcare group, or is this like team metrics, or how does it work in terms of how they're using it?
You know, that's interesting. At first, we really were focused on the hospitals, the health systems, and giving them the information they needed, pulling from their disparate sources and then providing intelligence for them. But you know what's happening, and we also did that for payers, for payer organizations such as Blue Shield of California. But what's happened is that the legislation from our government is actually forcing the two sides to share more and more information. So not only do you have hospitals, but physician practices as well as payers needing to share information, come together. And so that's what we're doing as well. We're providing a view of the truth, a single view of the truth for all the different parties. And that's a big trend in healthcare right now.
Okay, now a lot of the discussion was fear of insurance changes and things like that. So when you guys do the analytics, at what point is the person extracted from the patient extracted from the identity of themselves and all the stuff?
Of course, you know, HIPAA is the key piece of legislation.
Right.
So everything is done with HIPAA compliant, on a HIPAA compliant basis. And so that's not the issue. People are going at a higher level and looking at overall kinds of issues, in addition to some of the details, but basically that's not really a problem within healthcare.
Okay. And on the analytics side, is there any particular area of expertise that lends itself more to the analytics than others? Like, you know, if somebody's got heart problems or, you know, cancer, or those different types of metrics then apply?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really, healthcare is really complicated, as you know, and so what we do is we actually take their existing systems, extract, transform, and load the information, and then present it back in a way that's actionable, easy to use, dashboards, scorecards, drill down capabilities. That's really hard to do, and that's what's really needed, because we've got all these requests for reducing cost and improving quality, and you need a lot of data to be this way. And think about the Obama administration in terms of being accountable. They talk about being data-driven and accountable. Guess what? That's really needed in spades and that's what we provide for these both hospitals and health plans.
Cool, cool. And basic units of measure on the dashboard, is it cost per patient? Is it?
Well, there's a wide range. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, obviously, in terms of scorecards, you're looking at an impression of how are we doing, right? The big question from a management standpoint is how are we doing in these general areas, financial, operational, and clinical. But there's a lot more complexity within that. So for instance, as an example, there are 65 quality measures in just one healthcare delivery form. It's called Accountable Care Organizations, ACOs. 65 quality measures they have to look at on a regular basis. And then that doesn't even include some of the cost measures. So you can see that things can get kind of complicated really quickly.
Cool, cool. Now, if I was talking to the ideal customer for you right now, who should be paying attention to how you guys are doing things? Are you finding yourself being involved by integrators? Is it by hospitals themselves, home health care? Who's your ideal customer?
Well, given the magnitude of all the changes and the potential financial impact on a hospital and physician practices and health plans, everybody in the C-suite, all the executives have to look at this. You know, your boards of organizations, the executives of organizations have to look at these things. They're big challenges. If they don't, they may be out of a job and their organizations may not be in business. So there's interest from all of those. You mentioned integrators, so consulting firms, obviously, who don't specialize in technology and processes like we do, love to partner with us, for instance. And then there are other, the healthcare system, the healthcare IT world is very complicated. And so we humbly and I think accurately and realistically understand what we can do, which is fantastic, performance management for healthcare. But we also recognize there's other piece parts that are required to provide the chain you need, if you will, to really drive the changes and reduce costs and improve quality.
Okay, one more question for you. The world's very nuts right now for wireless technologies and basically kind of creating virtual hospital functionality, right? So
Right.
remote monitoring of patients and things like that. Are you seeing that kind of interest in your metrics? Can you talk about that a bit?
Absolutely, and I think there's a great interest in being able to see it through various tablet devices as well as even phone devices, alerts, workflow applications of our analytics are really important because that's how you make it actionable. That's how you act on it. It's because it's brought to you wherever you are, and people are moved around physically, and so that's a big part of our strategy and some things that we're working on.
Cool. Ken, I really want to thank you for your time.
Thank you, Carl.
Pleasure to meet you.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.